That's why this is all about Washington and this Chief Counsel's Office, and why we're going to have Mr. Wilkins in front of this committee at some point in the future. Ms. Hofacre, you're a public servant. You've served at the IRS for 14 years, I think, if I got that right?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Prior to that, you served our country wearing the uniform of our country as a veteran. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, I was both active duty and reserve.
Tell me how you felt when Lois Lerner, with the plan in question on May 10th, goes public and says this was inappropriate actions by line people in Cincinnati.
Sir, like I said before, it was like a nuclear strike, and I still think...
That's a term you used with
the earlier interviews.
With your interview with staff, a nuclear
Correct.
strike. And so you would agree with Cindy Thomas, one of your bosses in Cincinnati, who said people in Cincinnati felt like they were being thrown under the bus.
I'm not sure the context that was stated in, but literally that statement, I would agree with that.
Let me ask you one other question here, and then I'll close, Mr. Chairman. You were asked in your interview by our staff, Ms. Hofacre, this specific question. Do you think the public has been purposely misled by assertions that Cincinnati was to blame? And your response was?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I think your response, according to what we have, was
yes.
Exactly. So statements made by folks in Washington, two rogue agents, this narrative that was trumpeted out there and bandied about, statements made by the White House press secretary, apparent conduct by IRS officials in Cincinnati, IRS line personnel had improperly targeted conservative groups. They were purposely, according to your statement, you think folks in Washington were purposely, that's the key point. You said you think it was a purposeful misleading of the facts and what really took place.
Sir, in my opinion, when Lois Lerner made that statement, that would be correct.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I thank the gentleman. We now go to the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.